What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. My name is Joey Petersen. Been a couple of days since I've been live with you. We don't even really want to talk about the last time I was live with you because it was this Sunday for the Texans game, and, well, that went the exact way that it went. But happy you guys are here hanging out with me. You're watching the Ravens Rundown. Producer Gage on the ones and twos. I'm your host, Joey Petersen. We got an awesome live show lineup for you guys. Number one, could a big move be on the way? This is following the Ravens trading away Odafe Oweh. And I've got a thought, I've got a feeling that that's not the only thing they're going to be doing, okay? That saved $8 million of cap space. John Harbaugh was even asked about it today. The second thing, we're talking about trading away Mark Andrews. Could he be on the trading block now that, they might be making some more big moves? Could Mark Andrews be out? And then up last, third, our favorite segment, your favorite segment, my favorite segment, our Baltimore Ravens Rundown. Your questions, my answers. I asked you in the live poll. Now I'm going to ask you to get it in the comment section down below for me. Grade that Odafe Oweh trade. Right now, A is the leader at 35%. B is in second place at 29, C at 26, and 9% think it's a D. We asked you who won the trade in our community post today. The Baltimore Ravens, I think, were the leader the last time I checked. I think, I'm giving this one a B+. Sure, Odafe Oweh came into this year thinking he was going to be the premier pass rusher, but he wasn't. And you got a better player in return for him, in my opinion, and you got a better draft pick in return for him, okay? And now you don't have to pay him that big contract that he might have commanded in the offseason after this one. Landon's here saying, please get Max or Trey. Luis Cora saying, Joey P, what's going on? Ravens King, hashtag Ravens. We should trade for Jeffery Simmons. He would help us in the run defense and pass rush. Well, I got some news for you, Ravens King. We're actually going to be talking about a Jeffery Simmons trade on today's show. Jay Ralomes is in the house saying, Joey. Mog saying, put Marlo in a pack for Max. Landon wants Max. Attendance squad. We're now 1-4. If the Ravens lose to the Rams, go to the bye week 1-5. Can you go 10-7 if the Ravens stay healthy and get Lamar back? Yes, you can. I'll answer that one in a little bit more depth when we get to that mailbag. ATL Ghostface saying, it's time to get Maxx Crosby. Zach Shaw, give me a little go ball. Zach, I will be on a flight tomorrow night, like 24 hours from now, to Knoxville, Tennessee. Cannot wait for that game. Angry Posty saying, throw everyone, and then he wants Crosby. Adam saying the Raiders aren't going to take a $72 million dead cap hit. That's stupid. Attendance squad, how confident do you feel like this team can make the playoffs if Lamar gets healthy and the whole defense back to playing good? I feel good about it, man. If they can get healthy, if Lamar can get back, I think they're going to be able to win some football games. Their schedule in the back half of their season is much easier than in that front half. Jay Ralomes, do you think we go out and trade for Kyle Juszczyk or some more agile offensive linemen to deal with the QB spy defensive scheme we face a lot? Good question. I don't think we'll go trade for Kyle just because I think that they like him a lot in San Francisco. But we do need Patrick Ricard back. We do need Patrick Ricard healthy. We got an awesome thing going on in October, and we finally got it to us, okay? Look at this box. It's so official. We're giving away a signed Isaiah Likely mini helmet at the end of the month. This is our October raffle. We put out raffle tickets during our watch parties, but we're giving them to you at a special discount here are our weekly live streams. Here's the mini helmet. You can see the Isaiah Likely signature on it. It's still encased. It's in good care. It's got the NFL seal on it, so you know it's official. $5 super chats give you 3 raffle tickets. $10 gives you 6. $20 give you 15. So you've got a chance to get in to our month-long Isaiah Likely mini helmet signed raffle. And we'll be raffling that off, picking the winner for that October 30th Thursday night game against the Miami Dolphins. For right now, you know what? I'm going to put that. I wish there was a way I could put it where it just sits right here next to me. Whatever. You guys see it. If you guys want to send in a super chat, you can get some raffle tickets. Better deals than you'll get during our watch parties on Sunday, okay? So if you want to get in that raffle, now's the perfect time to do so. I'm going to bring in Producer Gage before I ask you this next question. Should Lamar Jackson play against the Los Angeles Rams? We asked you this about Houston. Majority of the people said no. I was one of those as well. Gage, he's gotten to sit another week, meaning he's gotten pretty much 2 weeks by the time this game would roll around of full rest. Would you play Lamar Jackson against Los Angeles, or do you think they should sit him?
I think they should play him. I think it's at a time where you need to play him. It's kind of a desperate situation. You want to avoid being 1-5.
Yeah.
So I think you should play him this week. If you lose, you have the bye week, so he has some extra rest going into week 8. So I would take the risk and play him this week.
Okay. I don't hate that. I'm kind of split with it because this feels a little bit like it is a must-win playing against the Los Angeles Rams. They are a really good football team. They're better than Houston is, and Houston beat you by 34 points. But with the state of this defense, do we even feel like Lamar Jackson could win us a football game? And if that answer is no, then don't even risk throwing him out there. Let him sit. Let him continue to get a little bit more healthy so that way as this season goes on, he'll be able to come back. He'll be able to play after that bye week, be fully healthy when your team has a little bit better of a chance to play. And so I'm kind of at this spot where if he does play against the Rams, I'll be happy about it. But if he doesn't, I'm going to be happy about that as well. I'm kind of split 50-50 right down the middle. He could play. He couldn't play. I'm just kind of want him to be as healthy as he can for the rest of this season. That's really the biggest thing that I'm worried about and the biggest thing that I'm watching for.
How would you feel, Joey, if he goes in, does a few drives, and after that, John Harbaugh sits him out and puts Cooper Rush in for the rest of the game?
Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. That's not a bad idea. I doubt they would do that because then they'd be keeping up an active roster spot for a game day. But that's an interesting thought. But it's if he's fine, if he's healthy, why would you even take him out, you know? If he's good enough to play a couple drives, I think they're going to say he's good enough to play an entire game. And so, should he play? I don't know. Will he play? I don't know either. He didn't practice today. Kyle Hamilton, Ronnie Stanley were back at practice. But I think it's going to be a game-time decision. If I had to guess, I would guess no, he doesn't. Make sure you guys keep getting those questions in the comment section. Look at what Jay just did. #Ravens. How much cap space will be freed if we trade Mandrews? Well, Jay, I'm going to tell you that exact answer probably in 7 minutes during our first segment, so stick around for it. But if you want to be like Jay, use #Ravens in the chat to get on our mailbag, or you could send in a super chat for some raffle tickets for our Isaiah Likely signed mini helmet. That also will guarantee your spot in today's raffle. $1, $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $100. It doesn't matter the amount. If you send it in by super chat, you will guarantee to get on today's show in the mailbag. Okay? That's the only way to guarantee it. So, use #Ravens. Get those questions in the chat. So that way we have an awesome mailbag. It's up. It's popping. And that way, you know what? We can get you guys involved in the Ravens Rundown. Do you want Lamar Jackson to be healthy? Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, okay? We got 108 people in here. I am not starting the first segment until we get to 40 likes, okay? Until we get to 40 likes. I'm not doing it. I'm not starting the segment until we get to 40. Right now we're at 17. 110 people in here. That means we need 23 more people to like the video. And once we do that, we'll get started with our first segment, okay? Now we just need 22. Water sign, you got to use #Ravens with the rest of your question all in the same message so that way it can populate in our database, just like Jay just did, okay? Robert, Crosby is not getting traded to the Ravens. Stop it. We're going to at least talk about it. Joey, what is wrong with Patrick Ricard? He has not been practicing. When do you think he will be back? I think he's going to be back the game after the bye week. So we play Chicago right after the bye week. I think the game after that game, which is Ravens. How do I not know this? The Dolphins. Yes. Okay. That Thursday night against the Dolphins, I think that's when Patrick Ricard's going to be back. He had that injury, and then he just re-aggravated that injury. And so they thought they'd get him back, I think, around this time, and then he kind of re-aggravated that same injury he already had. So that's kind of what's been going on with him. We're at 41 likes. Let's go ahead and just get to 50, Gage. How about we just get to 50? We need 9 more. We need 9 more. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Make sure that you are liking the video and hitting that thumbs up button. Doesn't cost you a dime. I don't know if we've ever gotten a 50 likes, Gage, in a build-up before. This would be record-breaking, okay? This would be absolutely record-breaking.
I think that we can do it. I think that this group wants it.
Yeah, I agree. EDC built a top-heavy team with a lack of depth, I assume, what Zach Shaw is going to say at the end of that. Without Lamar, we're done for, says ATL Ghostface. Yeah, man, it's going to be hard to win football games without Lamar Jackson. It's hard to win football games. They barely did it with Lamar Jackson. I don't want to see him continue to try to do it without him. Okay, we're 1 like away to 50. The goal today is to get to 100, so keep hitting that thumbs up button. Up first, let's talk some trade rumors. It's been a busy week for Eric DeCosta. We're going to talk about that and what might be coming next. Gage, are we ready to roll? Let's do it, brother. Okay, don't go anywhere. Our first segment will come at you right now. It has been a very busy week for one Eric DeCosta, and for good reason. The start to the 2025 season for the Baltimore Ravens has been an absolute nightmare start, okay? I can guarantee you, if you asked him back in April if he expected this team to be 1-4, he would have put every dime he had that they wouldn't be. But here you are. Something's got to happen. Something's got to change. He's been trying to make changes all week. Signed C.J. Gardner-Johnson. That happened yesterday, earlier in the day. And then a couple hours later, he made a trade that we really did not see coming, sending Odafe Oweh to the Los Angeles Chargers. Of course, you get the safety in return. You get a 5th-round pick in return, and you give them a 7th-rounder that was not even yours. Technically, it was owned by the Los Angeles Rams. I liked that trade at the time. I love these moves that he's making. I think C.J. Gardner-Johnson can bring a little bit of a fire, bring a little bit of that dog attitude that we feel like this team is missing right now. And I think that, Odafe Oweh, he wasn't really playing up to the level we all expected him to be. But my second thought, with that move from yesterday, with the trade, with the signing, and with adding Aloe and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, it might not be over, ladies and gentlemen. Just because he's made a couple moves doesn't mean he's done and sitting on his hands until the trade deadline. Don't believe me? Let's hear it from Jeff Strayback. This was right after the moves went down yesterday. He said, I have to think that DeCosta has something else up his sleeve with cap savings from moving on from Odafe Oweh. Pass rush has been a major issue this year, and while Oweh has struggled, trading him leaves them with an edge rush group of Van Noy, Robinson, Green, Ajabo. They need more. That's your insider for the Baltimore Ravens, writes for The Athletic, and John Harbaugh basically confirmed what he was speculating. Harbaugh said that he believes DeCosta will continue to have discussions about adding a pass rusher ahead of the trade deadline. So there you got it. It's all but confirmed right there. The Baltimore Ravens are not done making moves. And the reason we're all thinking that is because they saved some cap space with that Oweh deal. $8 million to be exact. And you added in Aloe, who's just going to be like a $1 million charge to you. So in reality, that's a $7 million difference right there. They didn't just do that to save it. They didn't just do that to invest it, right? They didn't just do that to put it into Amazon. They did that to get some usage out of it. And more importantly, in my opinion, it saved you a possible future contract. I think that was something that's been looming over Baltimore since the end of Odafe Oweh's 10-sack season. With Kyle Hamilton do, with Lamar Jackson possibly do, with Derrick Henry do. They got a lot of those moves done. They got a lot of those deals done over the last couple of months. Odafe Oweh was one that said, man, we got to get that done at some point. Well, not anymore. So now, because of the cap savings, could a big move be coming? That's exactly what we're talking about on today's show. Because there are some big holes to fill with Nnamdi Madubuike's departure, with him being sent to IR. There's some big holes to fill with Odafe Oweh's departure. Even though he wasn't playing up to the level this year that he was last year, that does not mean that you still don't have, the horses that you'd want to have in that position group. Because you don't. Your edge rushers right now, like Jeff Zrabak pointed out earlier, Kyle Van Noy, 12th year in the National Football League. Mike Green, 12th day in the National Football League. David Ajabo, a lot of people were surprised he ended up making this roster. And Tavius Robinson, who's a good player. But do we trust any of these guys truly to be consistent with their pressure and getting the quarterback at a down-to-down basis? I'm going to tell you on the rest of today's show 3 players that I think Baltimore might be interested in trading for over the next couple of weeks. Do not go anywhere. Before that, though, we're getting close to our next milestone, 38,500 subscribers. We are 122 subs away. If you guys have not yet, subscribe to this channel. Help me out. Do that right now. It does not cost you a dime. About 60% of our viewers aren't even subscribed. So if you think you are, make sure to check. And if you're not, one click, you're done. That's all it takes. So we know this possible trade might be expensive, right? It might be a lot to trade for some players. It's going to cost you a lot of money. But I think it's worth it, right? And also, the Ravens currently have 5 fifth-round picks. Yeah, you read that right. They have the Chargers. They have their own. They have two compensatory draft picks coming from, I believe it's Patrick Ricard and Brandon Stevens. And then they have the one from the Jets in April. They got 5 fifth-rounders. So, yeah, it might be expensive to trade for some of these guys, but you got the draft picks to do it, and you also now, because of that Odafe Oweh deal, you have the money to do it. So let's talk about the biggest one first, okay? That's one Mr. Maxx Crosby. A guy we have not talked about in a very long time at the channel because, let's face it, there hasn't really been a reason to. Well, now there is, okay? My thoughts on Maxx Crosby, they're as follows. He should demand a trade. He needs to demand a trade. I feel like if any of us were in the shoes of Maxx Crosby, we would have done it years ago. Because the Raiders are an absolute joke. They are an absolute joke. And they have been for a very, very, very long time. And I'm sure he does not want to waste his career in Las Vegas. Because that's what he's been doing so far. I feel like, even though we have a lot of opinions on Zach Orr, he could thrive in this scheme. Because Maxx Crosby is a guy who could thrive in any scheme. And the Ravens need a defensive end badly after the way they've started and now after the departure of Odafe Oweh, leaving them with the guys that they have. And so far, Maxx Crosby in 2025 has been a damn good football player. An overall grade of 84.6 PFF, run defense grade 78.6, pass rush 76.8, 2 sacks, 16 pressures, and 4 quarterback hits. Okay? Odafe Oweh, 0 sacks on the season. I get it. That number 2, it's not crazy, but you got to think, nobody else on that Raiders defensive line really is worth anything. So every single week, he's getting double teamed. He's getting triple teamed. All of their focus is on him. But no more about his play with Las Vegas. Let's talk about what it would mean to trade for him. You would have to part ways, in my opinion, with at least a first-round pick. And I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that. And they're going to say, A, don't do it, or B, there's no way that's what it would cost. You're wrong. It would. Las Vegas freaking loves Maxx Crosby. Everybody's favorite Raider, including Pete Carroll's, is Maxx Crosby. They are not letting him go for anything less than a first-rounder. But if Baltimore thinks that they can really still contend in the year of 2025, even though they've started this season 1-4, you have to make that call, man. You have to. If you still believe this team can win a Super Bowl with the way this roster is currently constructed and how you started this season, and you feel like you're one more piece away and Maxx Crosby could be that piece, you got to do it, man. This Super Bowl window feels like it's closing this season. Big time. Name a player you think the Ravens should trade for in the comment section down below. Who do you think it should be? I've given you one, Maxx Crosby. I'm about to give you 2 more, but I want you to let me know in the comment section down below. Something I want to let you guys know about is if you download the PrizePicks app right now, use our code CLNS, you get $50 in lineups. Just straight from PrizePicks. Here you go. Here's $50 from us. All you got to do is play a $5 lineup. You and I make decisions every single day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Zay Flowers' receiving yards, catches, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on PrizePicks. Follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like. Hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. Here are my PrizePicks for Sunday's game against the Los Angeles Rams. I feel like Zay Flowers is going to be a common target, so give me more than 49.5 receiving yards. Derrick Henry, he's got to break out at some point. Give me more than 63.5 rushing yards. And you know what? With this Ravens defense, I'm just going to take the more on every quarterback that faces him every week. So give me the more, 247.5 pass yards from Matthew Stafford. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, let's talk about our next player. How about Jeffery Simmons? I get it. This is a guy that we've talked about a decent bit over the last couple of weeks, really since these, Baltimore Ravens woes have been started, because Nnamdi's gone, and you need help on the interior, and guess what? Jeffery Simmons could be that for you. He leads all defensive tackles in football in total pressures, 5th in the NFL. He leads all defensive tackles and tackles for loss with 6. That's 5th in the NFL. He leads the NFL in double team rate at 66%, which is his career high, and yet he still be able to lead the defensive tackles in pressures and tackles for loss. He also leads the NFL in pass rush win percentage at 31%. He's been an absolute freak. Easton Freeze, guy who covers the Tennessee Titans, NFL insider Jeffery Simmons generated a season-high 6 pressures and 1.5 sacks on 35 pass rushes against the Cardinals in Week 5. He was doubled on 37.1% of pass rushes, his lowest double team rate of the season, and he capitalized on that. 5 quick pressures in a game, tied for a career high. 37.1% of pass rushes being doubled, that's his lowest this season. And he still did what he was able to do. And that's still a pretty high number. He can stop the run, he can stop the pass, and he is a sure tackler. He is everything you could want. He is everything you could desire in an interior defensive lineman. And I think my favorite thing about him is he's an absolute dog. Sure, sometimes he does some shady stuff, right? He spit on a player or two in his NFL career. Guess what? I don't care. At this point, give me somebody who's going to go out there and be a dog for me, because you don't have that on your team. You got a lot of pretenders. You got a lot of guys who like to talk. Got a lot of guys who like to say they're dogs. But when it's time to come and show it, when it's time to come perform on the football field, when it's time to hit a guy in the face, they don't do it. Jeffery Simmons will. My trade idea for him, you've seen this before. 3rd round pick, straight up. 3rd rounder, give us Jeffery Simmons. I'd make that trade any day of the week. Would you? If you would, type A for accept in the comment section down below. And if you wouldn't, go ahead, type me D for decline. I want to hear your answer. Jeffery Simmons for a 3rd rounder. What say you? Let me know. Kayvon Thibodeaux is my last possible Ravens trade target. He's an edge rusher with the New York Football Giants. And the reason we're talking about this is because New York is just absolutely spoiled with their defensive line. They've got an embarrassment of riches. So much so that the best rookie edge rusher and maybe the best rookie player, Abdul Carter, is a bench player because he's behind Brian Burns and Kayvon Thibodeaux. Oh, and then they also have one of the best interior defensive linemen, and Dexter Lawrence. And they're not going to extend him. That's the thing. This is the final year of his rookie contract. I think they've got too much money to pay to guys like Brian Burns. I think they're going to choose Burns over Kayvon Thibodeaux any day of the week. And so they could be looking like, hey, if he's just going to be a free agent in off seasons to come, because I can't remember right now if they've picked up his 5th-year option or not, regardless. He's going to be free agent at some point. Might as well trade him away and get some type of assets for him instead of letting him just walk and getting a comp pick. At this point, if you're Baltimore, you just need bodies. You just need players. You just need athletes. You need guys that you can have confidence in that will get to the passer. And I believe that Kayvon Thibodeaux is that guy. I truly believe that, okay? He's had a pretty solid year so far. He's got 2.5 sacks, more than one Odafe Oweh had. He has 4 times the tackles for loss. That's right, Oweh only had 1. Last year, 5.5 sacks in 12 games. The year before that, 11.5 sacks, 50 tackles, 12 tackles for loss in 17 games played. I would really, really love Kayvon Thibodeaux on this football team. Pick one to trade for down below in the comment section. If you want Max, type MC. If you want Jeffery Simmons, type JS. And if you want Kayvon Thibodeaux, go ahead and type a KT for me in the comment section down below. That's going to do it for today's show. Make sure you got me followed on social media, Twitter, Instagram. I'm everywhere. Put those links in the comment section and description of today's video. And if you're not subscribed, make sure that changes right now. Alrighty. Whoa, Gage. We got 230 people in this piece. There we go. Name a player you think that the Ravens should trade for. I'm seeing some Simmons. I'm seeing some Crosbys. I'm seeing a lot more Jeffery Simmons than Maxx Crosby's right now. Okay? AJ Wesley says Simmons. Jonathan says Maxx Crosby is the answer. We have to focus on the division. Browns have Myles Garrett. Steelers TJ Watt. Bengals Trey Hendrickson. All we have no one with an identity. MC. I like that, Jonathan. I like that. Luke wants MC. Clarence wants JS. I want anybody. Any of those three names, I'd be happy with. C King, King of the Seas, coming in with a $2 super chat. Our defense effing sucks. Shame. You're not wrong, C King. You are not wrong. And you put it just as you should have put it. Okay? That's just the way it is. That's just the way baseball go, my friend. Hey, we got to let everybody know. Two things. One, like the stream. It's free. Actually, three things. One, like the stream. Let's get to 100 likes. Two, subscribe to the channel. If you're not, it's free. All you got to do, click a button. That's it. Doesn't cost you anything. Number three, we are giving away at the very end of the month an Isaiah Likely signed mini helmet. Right now, we are giving away raffle tickets, the best deals you're going to get them. Because the only other time we give away raffle tickets are in watch parties, and they're not this good of deals. So for a $5 super chat, you get 3 raffle tickets for the Isaiah Likely signed helmet. 10, you get 6. 20, you get 15. If you get more than that, then hell, I'll almost let you do progressive. Name your price tool, right? So for a $5 super chat, get 3 raffle tickets for the Isaiah Likely signed mini helmet. $10 gets you 6. $20 gets you 15. And we're going to go ahead and just, man, I'm still wishing I had something to say. That's whatever. Louis Cora, did you know Louis Gilman doing what Ardarius Washington did last year? Yeah, I think he's going to. I do think he's going to. Clarence Smith says, I agree with any of the 3. Jay Relome says, hashtag Ravens, Crosby and Wilkins. Ooh, get a little bit of a Raiders rerun in here. Luke K says, get all 3, let's go wild. LeVar Lewis says, realistically, we're getting Chase Young. I wouldn't hate Chase Young, but it just doesn't move the needle for me. And in my opinion, I doubt it moves the needle for them. I think they're looking for a guy genuinely to change the trajectory of this season. And I don't think, and I know you don't think, that Chase Young does that. If you guys want to get on the show, we got a mailbag coming up in probably 15 minutes. Use hashtag Ravens in the chat to get a question in. Or you could super chat and guarantee your question gets on the show. And if it's $5 or more, you're going to get a raffle ticket. You know what, C King, King of the Seas? I'm going to go ahead and give you a raffle ticket for that $2 super chat. I'm going to give you one.
That sounds smart. Like, he's the first one that broke the mold today.
I agree. He's the first one that broke that seal. C King, King of the Seas. I first saw C King. I think he made his first appearance at the Ravens Rundown. If I'm wrong, tell me, C King. I believe it was for the Buffalo Bills game, playoff game. I could be wrong. SC, Crosby the Ravens should have been done last year. Brian Nation, I just don't see that happening, Max. I don't think he would want to be a Ravens. I think Max is going to stay a Raider. I get you thinking that. I just don't think he should, man. I just think it'd be smarter for him if he asked for a trade and he got out of Las Vegas. Nobody needs to be in Las Vegas, man. Nobody. And I'm not just talking about the football team. I think we're all better humans probably if we stay away from the city of Las Vegas. C King, King of the Sea, fire the entire O-line, fire the D-line, get sumo wrestlers instead. I have spoken. I like that, C King. Get yourself 3 more raffle tickets for that Isaiah Likely mini helmet raffle. We could put that on the show. We won't do that one first when we get to the mailbag, but you can do that one later. I like that. Lance Martin, Titans are in a true rebuild. Simmons should be a slam dunk. He is in his prime, has 3 years left in his contract, worth the trade, no more than a third, though. I do think that, man. I agree with you. They are totally going to be sellers. And you could truly, truly get an impact player, a guy who could change everything, it feels like. Okay, Gage, are we ready to roll? with our next show?
I'm ready to go whenever you are.
All righty. Make sure when you push me across, get that mic muted so that way we don't have any of that, audio for when we're actually rolling. But, Bry Nation, I mean Max, like the Raiders, same time. I don't know if he would want to get traded. I mean, I would think he could be traded. Okay. What about Derek Brown or Zach Allen? Yeah, Dark. I don't hate those names. They just don't really do it for me, unfortunately. Okay. We're 8 likes away from 200. Once we get to 200 likes, we will start our next show. If you have not liked the video, change that. Like it right now. Because, again, we are 8 likes away from 100. I think it's probably the most we've ever had on a live show. This is the biggest audience we've ever had on our live show, so shout out all of you guys. Which one of them is hurt and cheap? That's EDC's guy. Luke, that's funny, man. That is funny. SC says he also loves short receivers and old players. Yeah, that's good. That's only a joke that like a Baltimore Ravens fan would get. Like that's some good stuff. Rex Ryan trash, says Bry Nation.
Why would you say he's trash?
Rex Ryan would be the last head coach I would hire to coach the Baltimore Ravens.
What about DC?
Sure, he could be DC. He's not being my head coach. I'll tell you that much, okay? I'll tell you that 10 times, 7 days a week and twice on Sundays. That's what I'm telling you that.
But I'll say, if he's a defensive coordinator, he will get that defense in shape.
Yeah, he would, but I'm not interested in one bit in having him as my head coach.
Why not?
Dude, it's Rex Ryan. Like, he's past it. He's past it, man. I like Rex Ryan. He's a good analyst. But that's the thing, is like these analysts, they have the perfect job because they're just sitting here judging everybody else, and everybody forgets how they actually were as a head coach. Same thing happened with Dan Mullen. He did TV, now he's got a college football job. Being an analyst is great for them, but I don't think that makes you a better football coach. It's the reason you got fired in the first place. Trey Casey, $5. KT and Jeffrey. But who can we trade from Jacksonville if we traded Andrews there? Great question, Trey Casey. All right, Trey, I'm going to give you 3 raffle tickets. Reminder, Trey, make sure to come back for our Ravens-Dolphins stream. Thursday Night Football, October 30th. We're going to raffle this away. You got a choice, or you got a chance, man. You got 3 raffle tickets. Also a great question. We're going to go ahead and answer that in our mailbag later. Trey Casey giving himself 3 raffle tickets. All right, Gage, are we ready to roll? Not to make you upset, not to burst your bubble. I don't like it when we fight, okay? I like Rex Ryan. I like him as a DC. I'll tell you that. Head coach, I'm not interested. He's a little too old. I want someone new, young, fresh. That's the thing. John Harbaugh's been here for 18 years. John Harbaugh's a geezer. Rex Ryan's in that same breath. I want someone new, young, hip, fresh. That's what I'm interested in.
How young are you looking? Like, how much experience you want to see them as a head coach?
Like, I wouldn't, dude, at this point, I would not mind rolling the dice on someone who's never been a head coach before.
Really?
I think Brian Flores, this is why I think Brian Flores is perfect. Because he's young enough. Brian Flores, how old is he? Brian Flores' age. 44. Perfect age, in my opinion. He's had experience as a head coach. He's tough. He's physical. In my mind, that is the perfect choice to be the Baltimore Ravens' next head coach.
I could see that. I can actually see that.
Zach Shaw says Oregon's head coach. Yeah, I wouldn't hate that. Nashman Rice says McDonald. Yeah, I mean, if we could have it perfectly, that would have happened 2 years ago.
I'll say Dan Lanning with Baltimore. I think he'll bring that big intensity back. Like, so look at what he did with Oregon.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing about hiring college coaches, Engage, we talked about this week. The only thing about hiring college coaches is they don't have the connections to build a really strong staff around them in the National Football League. That's the only thing that scares me a little bit. But for Dan Lanning's attitude, his leadership, sure, I would love that, man. Brian Nation says Dion. Trey Casey says, I'll be in Miami too. Okay, well, even if you're in the game, make sure to join at the end of that game stream because this one you're getting it, and you have to be present to win. Okay, and that's when we're raffling this off. Okay, Gage, let's waste no more time. Let's go ahead and get into our Ravens into some Mark Andrews trade rumors, okay? If you want to hear about the Baltimore Ravens possibly dealing Mark Andrews, that's coming up right now on the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. The Mark Andrews trade rumors are back, everybody. Right in the nick of time, about a month before the NFL trade deadline. We got some reports that we've got to talk about that apparently Baltimore is willing to part with Mark Andrews by that trade deadline. Before that, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We were down like 100 subs to Steelers Talk. We've brought it back within 30. That's because of you guys. If you have not subscribed yet, make sure to change that today. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for the channel. Do it to put some food on producer Gage's table. Okay, this is how he eats. Subscribers. So, if you guys haven't joined us, today's the perfect day to do so. It doesn't cost you a dime. Subscribe to the show. After this horrible start, and it has been a horrible start, there are some rumors going around that the Baltimore Ravens possibly are open to moving on from Mark Andrews. And these aren't rumors that I just pulled out of thin air. They're not just rumors that I saw on Twitter with a guy who has Lamar Jackson as his profile picture. No. These are legit, okay? A Fox Sports NFL insider, Eric Williams, he's the one who reported them. He's the one who wrote about them, and those are the exact ones that we're talking about on today's show. This is what he said exactly. In terms of potential players who could be on the move at the trade deadline, another league source pointed to Baltimore Ravens tight end Mark Andrews. With the Ravens scuffling at 1-3, this was written about a week ago, and Baltimore already having a talented younger tight end on the roster in Isaiah Likely, Andrews could be an appealing trade candidate for a contender in need of a quality tight end. And this isn't the first time we talked about a Mark Andrews trade, right? We talked about it a lot during the offseason. And it wasn't just because of the fact that he fumbled and dropped that two-point conversion in the playoff game against Buffalo. It's because of how much money you're paying him this year, how much money you could have saved by trading him away, and the fact that you do have Isaiah Likely on that roster. But that was then. This is now. And now it kind of feels a little bit more real than ever. We are less than 4 weeks away, from the NFL trade deadline, and it feels like the clock might be ticking for Mark Andrews. He got off to a really slow start in 2025. He's picked it up, though, 17 catches, 150 yards, and 2 touchdowns so far this season. But again, with a trade for him, you save $7.8 million in cap space. And with the current state of your team, with the current state of your roster, that money to go get a defensive piece might be more valuable than Mark Andrews on this team going forward. Because you've got Isaiah Likely. And I know, I get it. I can hear the comments already. Isaiah Likely hasn't necessarily impressed so far this season. He had a pretty bad game against the Houston Texans. Multiple mistakes, multiple false starts. But I still think that he's the easy choice out of the two of these guys. I think they made their choice about a year ago. You're going to go with the younger cat. You're going to go with the guy with the higher upside, the higher ceiling. And if he's playing like this, you might get him at a little bit more of a discount than you originally would have. The Ravens have proven this week to be very active. Obviously making that deal for Awuzie, trading away Odafe Oweh, signing C.J. Gardner-Johnson. They know that this defense needs work. They know that this defense needs help. DeCosta knows that changes need to be made. Plain and simple, flat out, end of the story. So he's doing something about it. He's been doing something about it. And we already talked about it earlier this week. John Harbaugh even confirmed it. He said expect them to be active and busy prior to the trade deadline. They've got a piece in Mark Andrews they feel like they can get something from or for. We're not surprised to see them at least entertain an idea like that. What do you think the percent chances that the Ravens trade away Mark Andrews? Scale it for me down below in that comment section. 1 to 100. Okay? What do you think it is? 100 meaning you're like guaranteeing it happens. 1, you're saying like no chance. Okay? Let me know in the comment section. For when it's actually going to happen, I'll be honest with you guys, I would not expect anything until late October. Maybe before that because you got the bye week coming up. But like the NFL trade deadline isn't until November 4th. So if they are going to deal Mark Andrews, they're going to A, want some time to shop him, see if they're going to get that best deal, and B, want to keep him on this roster to utilize his skill set as a tight end in that tight end room. Because they still have been going at him, right? Cooper Rush went at Mark Andrews time and time again in that game against the Texans. And yeah, as a fan, it's going to be hard to move on. I'm right there with you. Mark Andrews has meant so much to this franchise, so much to Lamar Jackson. Now, I will say the game against the Buffalo Bills in January does help moving on from him just a little bit, but we all agree that what this team needs help with most is that defensive line, is that defense in general. We talk about it every day. You are trending to be one of the worst defenses in the history of the NFL. Not just in the NFL this season, in the history of this league. You are trending to give up more points than anybody else. And even without Mark Andrews, you still have some elite weapons on the offensive side of the football. Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, Isaiah Likely, DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Jackson. You still got dudes on that side of the football. That's why you're putting up 40 points a game, it seems like, 30 points a game. Scoring is not the problem. Stopping people from scoring is. And you look at the defensive weapons, and they don't jump off the page near as much as they do on the offensive side of the football. Sure, Kyle Hamilton screams at you. Nate Wiggins, he's got potential, man. I'm still liking what I'm seeing from him. But Kyle Van Noy had a great year last year, off to a decent start, has some injury troubles. He's a little bit older. I don't know if you'd exactly call him a weapon. Roquan Smith has had a really, really bad year. Marlon Humphrey, even before he got hurt, he was having a pretty damn bad year. And so it's like, do you have a ton of defensive weapons? You need some more. And if you could trade Mark Andrews for one of them, shoot, I'd do that any day of the week. So coming up on today's show, some teams that might be interested in Mark Andrews. Because it takes two to tango, okay? It takes two. You got to have someone that wants them if you want to get rid of them. I'm about to tell you who that is. Before that, though, I got to tell you about an awesome, awesome sponsor of today's video. It's our friends over at Ethos. As you know, my wife Kennedy and I got married a year and a half ago. I imagine we'll buy a house, maybe start having kids sometime soon. And if something were to happen to me, the last thing I want the people I love about to worry is being able to pay the bills. So I trust Ethos to keep them protected. It's not fun to think about what would happen if something happened, but you do need to be prepared. With life insurance through Ethos, your family is protected. Life insurance is a perfect way to make sure you're covered. You can get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. There's no complicated process, and it's 100% online. As of March 2025, Business Insider named Ethos the #1 no medical exam instant life insurance provider. Just answer a few health questions and get a quote in as little as 10 minutes. 3 million families have completed their applications and trusted Ethos to help find the right coverage. You can even get up to $3 million in coverage, and some of their policies as low as $2 a day billed monthly. Need more convincing? Ethos has 4.8 stars out of 5 stars on Trustpilot with over 2,400 reviews. Protect your family with life insurance from Ethos. Get your free quote at ethos.com/NFL Daily. That's ethos.com/NFL Daily. Application times may vary. Rates may vary. Let's talk about the #1 team that Mark Andrews might be on the move to, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville has had a very, very surprising start to their season. And speaking of some surprising things that have happened to them, they did not expect this, but Britton Strange, their tight end that had been really, really good, has been placed on injured reserve because of a quad injury. He's expected to be out for about a month. They're right now sitting at 4-1, tied for first in the AFC South. They are a team, in my opinion, that could be buyers at that deadline. I think they're ahead of schedule from where everybody thought they were going to be, with a brand new head coach, with a quarterback that people kind of had mixed opinions on. But Liam Cohen has come in, and they're doing amazing things. They're going toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid on prime time, and coming out victorious. That is a very, very hard thing to do. They're doing it. And they need help in that tight end spot. They need weapons offensively. They thought they had one in tight end. Now he's hurt. Mark Andrews could be a guy they target. He could be a veteran target for a guy like for a guy like Trevor Lawrence. It's a team that's got a lot of young guys on it, right? Brian Thomas Jr., Travis Hunter, ETN. Like, those guys have not been in the NFL for very, very long. Mark Andrews could be a perfect presence in that locker room and could be a great go-to guy for Trevor Lawrence. Drop a name for me. You let me know who is a team that you believe might trade for Mark Andrews. Okay? I gave you one. I'm about to give you 2 more, but I need you to give me one in the comment section down below. #2, Every single time we talk about a Mark Andrews trade, we always make sure to mention this team because, in my opinion, this one probably makes the most sense. It is the Los Angeles Chargers. If there's anything we learned about Greg Roman and his very, very, very long time, way too long time as a Baltimore Raven, we know he loves the tight end position. And with that tight end position, we know that he loves Mark Andrews. He made sure Mark Andrews was very, very involved in this Baltimore offense when he was the one that was running things. And so far, they're sitting at 3-2. They're tied for first in the AFC West, but they're kind of a weird team to figure out. You don't really know where they sit. And their weapons, they don't have a ton of them. Ladd McConkey, absolute dog. Justin Herbert, great. But their star rookie running back, Omarion Hampton, he's dealing with some injury issues. They might want to get a new piece for their star, future premier quarterback, Justin Herbert. He's dating Madison Beer. That's great, but does he have someone to throw the football to? Mark Andrews could be that someone. And like we said before, they got Keenan Allen back. He's a vet. But how much do we trust Keenan Allen to go separate, to go make a play? They just might want better insurance policy, security blanket for that quarterback in Justin Herbert. And the third and final team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think of these three teams, it's probably the most unlikely for Tampa Bay to end up trading for Mark Andrews, but I think we still got to talk about it because of the idea of Baker Mayfield, because of the idea that these two Sooners could have a reunion in Tampa Bay. And the Buccaneers, let's call it what it is. Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, they are off to a phenomenal start. I mean, Baker Mayfield is playing at an MVP-type level. They're currently 4-1, first in the NFC South, and right now they are probably a couple games away from clinching it, just with how bad that division is. They look at this year as a year that they're going to guarantee a home field playoff game. They look at this year as a year to possibly go far. They got Emeka Egbuka. Mike Evans, he's dealing with some injury things. Chris Godwin, he's dealing with some injury things. Baker Mayfield might want his go-to guy back in this offense. The guy he went to through his entirety of his Heisman campaign as an Oklahoma Sooner. Mark Andrews could be that guy. Baker Mayfield could be pounding the table. Say, hey, look, we're close. I need some more offensive weapons. I need some more help. Emeka Egbuka is great. Mike Evans is great. Mark Andrews, him and I, we already got that back and forth. They need a little bit of, better play at that tight end position. They got some good guys, but nobody like Mark Andrews. They could be willing. And again, like I said earlier, I don't expect anything to happen until late October. And if nothing happens, I don't think I'd be too surprised. But I'm just basically telling you this to monitor the situation. People around the NFL are talking. Mark Andrews might be a hot commodity over the next couple of weeks. Make sure you got me followed on social media. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Instagram. And you can find me right here every single day with a video for you guys on the Baltimore Ravens Rundown. If you haven't joined us yet, again, it's what puts food on the table for producer Gage. So subscribe. Name a team that you think might trade for Mark Andrews. Let me know in the comment section down below. Nick says New England. Charles says Denver. Dark says Bucks. Drew says Bucks. Nehemiah says Packers. Nehemiah, I don't think the Packers are going to do it. They love them some Tucker Kraft, my friend. Okay? They love them some Tucker Kraft. Sloquan plus Andrews plus Marlowe. That's what Ravens 52 wants. Bryce D says, guys, we're going 4-13. Raven says, I want us to tank because there's no way we can go deep in the playoffs with this garbage in GM and coaching. You know what? I would absolutely hate this team to keep sucking. But if it means John Harbaugh's gone, would that be the worst thing? Would that be the worst thing? Hey, Gage, let's get spicy. Let's get some back and forth going. We already have it built somewhere way down in weigh-ins. Can you find a weigh-in that says name a head coach? Who's your number, or something like who's your number one candidate to replace one John Harbaugh? Bright Asian says KC. Mog says Vikings, ? Yeah, I could see the Vikings, but, man, they got Jordan Addison. They got Jettas. They still have T.J. Hawkinson. But also T.J. Hawkinson isn't playing at a crazy level. Bills says the boys. No, they got, who's the cat? They have Knox, and they have Dalton Kincaid. So they're pretty much set at tight end right now. Raiders, they don't have Bowers, says Jay. Sasquatch says New York Giants. Yeah, I just don't see the New York Giants being buyers at the deadline. That's kind of my thought. Okay, who's your number one choice to replace John Harbaugh? You let me know in the comment section down below. Give me a name. If John Harbaugh gets fired, who do you want to replace him with? I think my number one, my top three, Brian Flores, Jesse Minter, or Mike Macdonald. Okay? Now, it's rare to steal away a head coach from somewhere that already he's a head coach at. I get that. But he built his legacy. He built his, he built what he is in Baltimore. And I'm sure there's parts of him that would love to come back to Baltimore. Coach for this team. Chris says Flores. Andrew says Flores. Bryce says Minter. Charles says Flores. Nick says Flores. Du Bois says Flores. Luis says Mike. Bryce says Flores is legit a psycho. I know. It's one of the things I love about him. That dude's a freak. He's an absolute freak. Plumber says Andrews to Giants for Lawrence or Thibodeaux and a third. Flores and LaFleur. I hear Sean McVay contract is up this year. Sean McVay is not leaving L.A. to come to Baltimore, probably. Terrence wants Rex. Nehemiah wants Flores. A lot of people want Flores. Kyle wants Gruden. Trey says, I'm with Brian Flores, though. Era 8 wants Gruden. Andrew wants McDonald. Dr. Ilwan wants Ray Lewis.
What would you do? What would you think about Brian Flores as a head coach?
Rex Ryan
as a DC.
I would like that. I would like Brian Flores, though, to hire someone that he wants to be the defensive coordinator. I want him to hire someone that, he's got some good repertoire with, some guy who's been like a linebackers coach for him over the past couple of years. Kyle wants John Gruden. Nehemiah wants Mike McDaniel. Attendance squad says, what about Monken? I wouldn't hate that, but I would kind of rule that out. I think if they're going to get rid of Harbaugh, they're just going to totally revamp it.
Clean
what
house.
I would love is if Brian Flores gets hired, if they tell him, hey, look, your OC is going to be Todd Monken. I would like that. Dr. Ilwan still wants Ray Lewis. Bryce says Rex ain't coming back. Hey, reminder, we're raffling off a signed Isaiah Likely helmet, mini helmet, at the very end of the month. We've got it encased in this nice plastic. I actually don't even know how to get it out. Okay, yeah, I know how, but I'm not going to. Should I? No, maybe I'll get it out someday. $5 gets you 3 raffle tickets. $10 gets you 6. $20 gets you 15. We'll be raffling this off the Miami Dolphins Thursday Night Football game on October 30th. Coming up next, we got our mailbag. Gage, how are we doing questions-wise? Gage is going to give us a check on questions. We might need some more. Elgato, with clean house, do you think Monken would stay? Great question. I hope he would. I really, really like one Mr. Todd Monken. Say that again? Terrence says Rex said he would come back. Yeah, Rex said he would come back because he hasn't been a head coach in how long? 7 years?
What's his last stint with Buffalo?
When's the last time Rex Ryan has been a
I think 2018 or 2017.
2016. So, yeah, he would want to be head coach because it's been 9 years. Yeah. King Lee says, didn't the Vault have a signed helmet too? I'm not sure, King Lee, but if you want to get in, $5 gets you 3 raffle tickets. Raffling it off October 30th.
You know what might be a decent OC?
Who?
Andy Kotelnicki.
I don't want to touch Andy Kotelnicki.
What?
Penn State sucks, Gage.
Okay, they do suck, but it's the Kotelnicki trickery in offense with Lamar Jackson. I think that'll be a dangerous duo.
If I'm hiring an OC from college, there are 15 offensive coordinators I would hire for Andy Kotelnicki.
Are you serious?
Your bias is showing, Gage, because your 2 coaches you asked me about have been Andy Kotelnicki and Rex Ryan.
Hey, Rex Ryan in DC was not bad.
TSU says bring in Deion Sanders. Alex, do you think the Ravens will squeeze in the playoffs this year? Alex, great question. Ask it again. Use hashtag Ravens. Okay? Question-wise, Gage, how are we doing? You think we're fine? Okay, remember, no repeats. If there are repeated questions, choose the best one from that person. Okay? Sweet. Okay. Alrighty. We are going to get into the mailbag. I think the first question can be from Trey Casey with that super chat. We can open up with that one. Let me look at. That'll be later during the show. I'm trying to think of some guys. Maybe Eric Armstead we could trade for. Armstead and some picks, something like that. I wouldn't mind Joshua Hines-Allen. I wouldn't mind that one bit. Yeah, that's fair. That is fair. So, yeah, those are the two. Allen and Eric Armstead. How many raffle tickets can we purchase, LOL? Well, King Lee, that's up to you. If you send in like a 50, I'll give you 50 raffle tickets. If you send in 100, I'll give you 125. You can get as many raffle tickets as you want, my friend. Just got to increase your chances. Again, we're raffling this off very end of the month. You can see it in all its glory. I likely number 80. Got the NFL seal, so you know it's real. What's up, Arosh? Good to see you. Okay, make sure you like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. It's free. Doesn't cost you a dime. Gage, let's go ahead. Get into the mailbag. You ready to roll? Okay, our final segment on today's show. Remember, anywhere from like 12 to 15. So keep an eye on that time if you want to get out of stopwatch. 158 people watching. Our biggest live show in the middle of the week ever. This feels like the watch party. Yeah, I'm enjoying it too. King Lee says, okay, cool. Okay, King Lee. Get in if you want, brother. King Lee, these deals you'll be able to get raffle tickets on Sunday as well, but if $5 gets you one, $10 gets you three, 20 gets you seven. So today's the perfect day to get it. Okay, mailbag time. You ready to roll, Gage? All right, let's do it. Coming at you right now. What's going on, everybody? Happy weekend to you. Hopefully you are enjoying that time off. We get into our Ravens Rundown mailbag. It is time for this thing we do weekly, okay? Every single Wednesday, we go live. We put out that mailbag call during our live show, so every single question you see is from a diehard Ravens fan. And I'm going to give you my best answer to these questions, so I'm so happy you guys are joining us for this awesome, awesome show. Do you want to be featured on an upcoming mailbag? If you do, make sure you have those notifications turned on. There's no way you can get into our live shows unless you get notified when we go live every single Wednesday. Subscribe, turn on those notifications, so that way when we do, you're in there and you can get your question on the show. Coming up first, this one was a super chat from one Trey Casey. KT and Jeffrey talking about he'd rather trade for Kayvon Thibodeaux and Jeffery Simmons, but then he asked, who can we get from a Jacksonville trade if we traded Mark Andrews there? So Jacksonville is a team that people think might be willing to trade for Mark Andrews because they've had to put their tight end on injured reserve. I think he's going to be out for about a month. In my opinion, obviously, if you're going to trade away Andrews, you want to get some defensive type player in return. My two thoughts, Eric Armstead or Josh Hines-Allen. Now, if you trade away Mark Andrews, you try to get Josh Hines-Allen. They're not just going to go one for one. You're probably going to have to add in a draft pick right there. But I think I would do that in an absolute heartbeat. I'd probably do that for Eric Armstead as well. Now it would be a draft pick that's a little bit later in the draft. Wouldn't be a day one, day two pick for Eric Armstead. But still, man, that's one I'd be super interested in. You got to get some help on the defensive line. And you have to give up, if you have to give up Mark Andrews to do so, I'm game. Save $7.5 million of cap space as well. Next question coming in from Jay Relomes. Do you think we go out and trade for Kyle Juszczyk or someone more agile? Offensive lineman, deal with the QB spy defensive scheme we face a lot. So I don't think we'll trade for Kyle Juszczyk because I think Pat Ricard is going to be back by the end of October. I think he's going to be back for that Thursday night football game against the Miami Dolphins. They've already gone 5 games without him. They're going to say, you know what, what's 2 more? Go with that. Okay, they're not going to trade to get a fullback in. Also, because he is absolutely loved. So he's not going to get traded away either. Now, for more agile offensive linemen to trade for, yeah, I think that's on the table. I think it's 100% on the table to trade for an offensive lineman because guess what? The offensive linemen you've got, they're not good enough. Daniel Fa'alele, Andrew Voorhees. Those guys, awful. You got some big problems in the interior of your offensive line. And you know how I know? Every single week on Twitter, on social media, we see clips of those two guys absolutely doing nothing when it comes to blocking the other team. How does that happen every single week? It's mind-boggling. Regardless, it's the hand you've been dealt with. It's what's going on your team. You got to address that. They go out and trade for an offensive lineman. I'd be happy, but I think defensive line needs to be addressed first. Attendance squad, #Ravens, how confident do you feel that this team makes the playoffs if Lamar gets healthy and the whole defense gets back to playing good? I mean, if those two things happen, I'm very, very confident. But will they happen? Will the defense get back to playing good? That's the big question. I'd feel decent about them making the playoffs if Lamar gets healthy, just because I feel like the AFC is not very talented. That's the thing. Is like, the AFC is not that great. I think you could win 9 games and get in the playoffs this year. I do. I know that sounds crazy, but I believe that. So, if you go into the bye week, say the worst happens on Sunday, say you go in 1-5, you come out with a healthy Lamar Jackson and a healthier defense. All you got to do is go 8-3 in your final 11 games, and you've got a chance to make the playoffs. Now, do I want that to happen? No. Of course I don't. But it could happen. It could happen. Okay? Favorite Gerd coming up next. Should the Ravens sign Christian Wilkins? Ooh, this one is interesting. No. I don't think so. In my opinion, one of the biggest things that's wrong with this team right now is their locker room. Okay? Their locker room. Feels like it's in shambles. I don't want to add another guy like a Christian Wilkins who has caused locker room problems in his past. It feels like there's so many distractions around this football team right now. Everything is pulling these guys in different directions. If anything, we need to be centered. We need to come together as one. I don't think adding a guy like Christian Wilkins does that. Now, would I love his skill set? Yeah, 100% for sure. The dude I still think is one of the best players on the interior of the defensive line in football. Top 10 probably interior defensive lineman in the game. But in my opinion, it costs too much and the baggage he'd bring with him to make that. You make the call, though. Should the Ravens sign Christian Wilkins? Give me a yes or give me a no in that comment section down below. What do you think? You let me know right now. Trey Casey coming in with another $2 super chat. Is there any chance of Calais Campbell? I mean, you had that chance of Calais Campbell in free agency, and you blew it. You absolutely blew it. I thought for sure they were going to make that move. There was a ton of rumors about them making that move. They didn't. They let him go to Arizona, and he's been absolutely balling. I'm actually pretty sure he has as many sacks in his season at age like 75 as you do in your entire team. I don't think so because you'd have to trade for him. I don't think Arizona right now would be willing to give him up. And at his age, I get it. He's playing well, but I would rather trade for someone who you could get a little bit more out of than like 12 games the rest of the season. That's my opinion. 11 games the rest of the season. You get what I'm saying? So, that's kind of how I feel. Elgato coming in. What, or if we clean house, do you think Monken would stay? Great question, Elgato. Sick profile picture, too. This is hard. I hope so. I love Todd Monken. But also, if you're bringing in a brand new head coach, I would want him to be able to bring his own guys. You know who does this? Jerry Jones and the Cowboys do this. Think about what happened when they hired Mike McCarthy. They said, hey, but we're going to keep Kellen Moore as our offensive coordinator. He did not get to choose that. That's stuff that Jerry Jones does. And if anything that Jerry's taught us over the last 30 years, you don't want to follow what he does because it doesn't lead to success. It doesn't lead to Super Bowls. It doesn't lead to playoff wins. So as much as I would love Monken to stay, if they truly clean house, I would want my new head coach, whoever that is, if it's Brian Flores, if it's Jesse Minter, if it's John Gruden, I don't care who it is, I would like for him to bring him in his own offensive staff. Now, if it's a college guy you take a shot on, the thing about bringing in college coaches, they don't have a ton of connections in the National Football League. If you give that guy an offensive coordinator, I could see that. But If you hired an NFL guy and say, hey, here's your OC, I don't know if I love that, even though I love Todd Monken. Another thing I love is this deal that our friends at Prize Picks are giving you guys. If you download the app right now and use our code CLNS, you can get $50 in lineups. They're just going to give it to you. All you got to do is play a $5 lineup. You and I make decisions every day. But on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the excitement this season on Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Prize Picks is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same lineup up to 3 times. Pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. Want to pick more on Lamar Jackson pass yards, rush yards, and touchdowns? Now you can pick all of them in the same lineup only on Prize Picks. Follow other Prize Picks players directly on the app. Copy their lineup in one click. Whether it's a friend, celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, hit the follow button and check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on Prize Picks. Here's my Prize Picks for Sunday's game against the Los Angeles Rams. Give me the more on Zay Flowers' 49.5 receiving yards. Give me the more on Derrick Henry's 63.5 rush yards. Gotta have a feeling he's going to make a comeback at some point. And then give me the more on Matthew Stafford, 247.5 pass yards. I'll give you a hint. Every Prize Picks lineup from here to the end of the season, until they show me differently, I'm going to choose the more on the opposing quarterback's passing yards. So download the Prize Picks app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. The link to this promo is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, it is good to be right. Adam78 said now that Baltimore has around $16 million in cap space, do you see a trade for a Pro Bowl DT to stop the run up the middle? Yeah, I really do, Adam78. And Gage, there's going to be a player 3 rank that's older that I believe has some really good DTs. I think it's Jeffery Simmons, Quinnen Williams, and you know what to find it. I do think so. Because if you trade for one of those guys, you're going to have to pay them. I think that's what they're getting ready to do. Pay somebody. They have to be. Nnamdi Madubuike is gone. Odafe Oweh is gone. You've got nobody on that defensive line. You need someone, okay? Maybe even a little bit older than this, Gage. Should have Quinnen Williams on it. If you can't find it, that's good, though. I would love that, man. There's 3 guys that would be like dream targets for me that are like Pro Bowl, unbelievable, would cost you a lot in a trade, and you have to pay them. But guess what? I don't care. You're contending for Super Bowl type players, okay? That is Jeffery Simmons, Dexter Lawrence, Quinnen Williams. Now, with Jeffery Simmons, it's not going to cost you much to trade for him. I think around a 3rd-round pick. Dexter Lawrence and Quinnen Williams, it's going to cost you more than that. It's fine, Gage. We don't need it then. It's probably going to cost you around a 1st-round pick. But I think it's worth it, man. And I know Eric DeCosta probably doesn't agree. He loves to hoard those draft picks. But, dude, go out and get somebody. You got the money, too. You're contending. Your Super Bowl window is closing. Your season is almost ending before the bye week. Go make a move. Moggs is up next. #Ravens. We're going to need fresh running backs. Who should we target to be Henry's replacement? Great. I would target the draft. I think you got a good Henry replacement in Keaton Mitchell. I think you think that as well. Obviously, the only people who don't think that is the Baltimore Ravens coaching staff for whatever reason. But I do think he'd be awesome. I also know that in the NFL draft, you can get a really good running back in like the 4th, 5th, 6th round. I mean, think of Bill Krosky-Merritt, one of the best rookie running backs in the game right now. I believe he was a 7th-round pick for Washington. Now, that's, not super common, but still, you get what I'm saying. There's good value in the running back position late in the draft. Every single year. Chris Byron. Who else do you think the Ravens are going to trade away? Keep an eye out for Mark Andrews. Maybe keep an eye out for Roquan Smith, just with how much he's getting paid, how bad he's been. Maybe keep an eye out for Marlon Humphrey. Those are the 3 guys I could see it happening to. I don't really think anybody else. Maybe Rashad Bateman in there as well. You just paid him. He has not been playing very well, but he's still young. Some people could still see the upside. Those are the 4 I'm going to give you. Other than that, I think everybody else is pretty safe. Will the Ravens make any big trades soon? Says Spooky Flock 201. I believe this is our last question. Maybe. Keep a lookout for it. We talked trades a good amount this episode already. Keep a lookout for an interior defensive lineman. Keep a lookout for an edge rusher. Keep a lookout for something, right? There's a reason they traded away Odafe Oweh, not just because he wasn't producing, because it saved them $8 million. If they trade away, and at the current recording of this video, they have not traded away Mark Andrews, but if they do, that would save him about $7.5 million. That's a lot of money, okay? Keep a lookout for it. I want you to name a player the Ravens should trade for in the comment section down below. Get active in the chat. Get active in the comments right now. And put your Eric DeCosta hat on, that ball cap. You let me know. We're going to get on out of here. But I appreciate you guys for spending your Saturday with us. Make sure you got me followed on social media. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. YouTube.com/RavensTV. Daily updates on the Baltimore Ravens. Alrighty, 3 up and 3 down. That is going to do it for today's show. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the channel. All it does is just one click. It's free. Doesn't cost you anything and locks you in for daily updates. Zach Sealer says Luis Cora. I wouldn't love Zach Sealer. He's been really bad this year. Ryan Smith says Maxx Crosby. Would love Mad Max, man. Would absolutely love that, dude. I got a feeling that first video we did, Gage, is gonna pop tonight. I got a feeling. Okay, it's going to be our last call for the Ravens raffle at the end of the month for Isaiah Likely. Gage, you know what? Go ahead and read only that list 3 logo. And go ahead and add 2 tickets to each thing. We're going to give an even bigger discount for everybody who's still hanging out with us. Trey Casey says, I won't be surprised if we make a huge trade that no one thinks we should trade for. I wouldn't either, Trey. Keep out on the lookout for it, okay? Keep on the lookout for it. I want a banger RB out of the draft to pair with Keaton. Yeah, me too, Boggs. Me too, man. 141 people watching, 2,300 views so far for this live stream. That's a good number. I mean, there's some other channels that are live right now. Let's see. Is Texans live still? What numbers did they put up? I don't think they... were they putting up these numbers? No, they weren't putting up these numbers. No, they actually have less than we do. But that's still, hey, we're good. We won't beat them. Hey, Falcons, they're done. They didn't put up these numbers. We're putting up numbers, baby. What's up, Steve? Okay. Signed Isaiah Likely helmet raffle. It's going down at the end of the month. $5 gets you 5 raffle tickets. $10 gets you 8 raffle tickets. $20 gets you 17 raffle tickets. All righty. Last chance to get in. Again, it won't be the last chance. We're going to give it again. We're going to give you a shot again for our watch party on Sunday. But you won't be able to get this kind of deal. What's the tennis squad saying? Henry has not been explosive this year. How can the O-line become more efficient in run blocking? Get new guards. Get new guards, genuinely. I do not trust this offensive line to be any sort of explosive. Dude, there's a new Faalele clip, Gage. I need to show you it. It's insane how every single week there is a new clip of Daniel Faalele just looking the dumbest he's ever looked.
You should make a montage at the end of the season of like all his bloopers.
Music. Yeah, I do. You're not wrong. But it's not Henry's fault, says the tennis squad. Yeah, you are not wrong. It is not his fault. All righty. We are going to get on out of here. Appreciate you guys for hanging out with us. Hey, we're going to be live again on Sunday. Ravens, Rams. Whether Lamar Jackson's playing or not, we're going to be there. Hope to see you there as well. Appreciate you guys for Producer Gage. It's been the best live stream of my entire time being this host in this channel's history. That's because of you guys. We'll see you soon. For Producer Gage, my name's Joey Petersen. Joey Petersen. I almost messed up my own name. Regardless, y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and God bless.